Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started.
This episode is brought to you by Studio Ninja.
When we are so busy with all of our work and we just need that extra helping hand to keep on top of all of our weddings.
With their automatic emails, scheduling, questionnaires, and invoicing.
It's a perfect tool to take your business to the next level. Studio Ninja. Hello and welcome to the Wedco podcast. I'm Toga.
And I'm Joel, and we're here at the incredible W in Brisbane today.
Cool. And today we have Andy from Evernew Studios on the couch with us.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming in, mate. Appreciate it. I know you're a busy
My
man,
pleasure.
so definitely appreciate the time coming down.
My pleasure.
Awesome. How's things been going for you lately?
Good.
Good? Yeah.
Good. Yeah. This year is obviously a bit of an interesting year, I guess, for the industry. I think everyone's feeling the little job or however you call it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's just across the board. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, actually, we might even start with like a little bit about who you are, the
Yeah.
studio, how long you've been going for, and where you're pivoting to at the moment.
Well, my business is called Evernew Studio. It was established in 2014. So we've been running, 10 years.
Yep.
In the making, yeah.
All right, goes quick.
Sick.
Yeah, no, 10 years.
What are you doing for the 10th year anniversary?
Oh, it just passed. I think we didn't really do
Just
anything.
send it.
just yeah, be like had a scotch with myself. Yeah. What an amazing 10 years it has been. Crazy 10
Living the
years.
dream.
Yeah, living the dream. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're based out of Brisbane?
Yeah.
Cool. And what would you say? Oh, you're doing both photo and video, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Has that been the whole time you've been doing both photo and video?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, well, I started Evernew with a videographer.
Yep. Okay.
So that's the story. So I'm always a photographer, and I started the business with a videographer.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
Videographer still going?
No, he left.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so he moved on. He's actually a YouTuber now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, awesome. And so, like, were you always living in Brisbane before you started the business?
yeah, always Brisbane.
Okay, cool. And like, was there an aha moment where you're like, well, we need to start this business together? Was there just, what happened? Like, what started it?
So I met my business partner
Yep.
back in the time when we were both shooting for another company. So I mean, like whatever reason that got us into the industry, we just end up shooting for that company. So that sort of created the opportunity for us to meet each other, and then sort of really enjoyed working with each other.
Yep.
At the time. Back in the days, there wasn't a lot of photo and video like off of both.
Definitely.
Like under the same umbrella. It wasn't like, now it's like everyone does that.
Yep.
Back in the time, it wasn't like a thing yet.
Yep.
For sure.
So we were like, hey, we really like sort of liked working with each other, and then we feel like we can actually make this process very nice and easy for the couple, because you know sometimes you kind of have to battle a little bit. The photographer and the videographer had to battle for the spots and then the timeline and everything like that. So, but we just made it work really smoothly. So we're like, hey, we can actually make this work. So that's where Evernew came from. Like how do we make photo and video both working smoothly? And then obviously there's a whole lot to it, but like that's basically the reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting you say that, because I offer photo and video for myself as well. And like some couples will just book me for either photo or video, which is sweet. But then like same thing, I'm like almost having to have that conversation with them where I'm like, cool, who's your photographer? Because it's like I worked with one end of last year, and it was just like so polarizing. Like she wanted one thing, I wanted something else, and she kept standing in front of my way even when I'd have a conversation, be like, hey, like I need to get this, if you can just stand back a bit, and just like same thing. And so it's almost like brides and groups, they don't know that that's a thing, that you know there's egos, or you know different people need different things and stuff like that. So how'd you go about like, I guess you didn't really have to educate people. Were people ever like booking you for just photo or video, like not together?
Not a lot, but like there is a few times that I have to work with another videographer from a different company, which I'm like totally cool with that, because I know like a lot of people, you know, like in the industry. So I would know the videographer before I even sort of go to the wedding.
Got to the wedding, yeah.
But obviously, it's time that I've met with new people who's just starting or never had a pleasure of meeting.
Yeah.
But I always always ask the videographer, like, how do you set up the ceremony?
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and then are you okay with me using flash? Because like I do use a bit of flash. Like I know videographers don't like that.
Well, some.
Well,
I was going to say some. I have no issue with it.
In a certain degrees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I always make sure that they're happy with what I'm doing.
Yep.
And that's the whole reason why we had Evernew at the beginning. Is like we want to make sure that obviously both products important.
Yes.
And then the couple paying for both. They're sort of not obviously. They might have one as more important than the other. Of
course.
But they are still paying for both.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important that the way we get it done has to work for both.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like having respect for like, cool, like I know you need beautiful photos, but also I need like, you know, beautiful like video. And it's like, if you're standing, like I'm very like run and gun, like let things happen in a moment, like capturing moments and things. But if you just have a couple standing there still, I'm like, that's not a video shot for me. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
And so it's like trying to have that conversation of like, let's work together. Like you get this, I'm going to get this, and like allowing each other space for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that sort of created a way we actually work as well. So like it's always very moving, very dynamic. So we want to get the couple on the move.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that way it works for both.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's also ultimately that makes the photo more naturally sort of happening as well. Yeah.
Both products are almost like complementing each other as well.
Yeah.
You know, like you can tell it's from the same studio because we're doing this type of style and this kind of, leads into one another.
Yeah.
I even find like Joel and I work together a lot. You come back to, as we both get busier, it's harder and harder to book with each other because we've both got our own weddings as well. So, but it is so nice working together and knowing what everyone's getting. And even like say walking back down the aisle, you're like, well, okay, are we 35 mil at the front of the aisle and we're going to walk back with a couple? Or are we going to be at the 85 mil at the end and they're going to walk towards us? And so it's even just having conversations like that and understanding what everyone's going to do as well.
Yeah.
That coming into the game, you just wouldn't know that's even a thing.
Yeah. And exactly. Like if you're working with someone that you never worked before, you probably wouldn't have that conversation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you just don't know when to have that conversation. And then it's happening so quick, everything on the wedding, as you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't really have the time to be like, hey, what are you shooting for the exit?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
It's almost like you got your three questions. You're like, what lens are you using? And then you're like, if I'm in your way, if you need anything, just let me know. I'll get out of the way. Like, and then you're like, cool.
But there's time that you just bump into someone, you know, it's going to be a bit of a funny day.
sure.
You just know, like, okay, here we go. Yeah.
Strap in.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your typical weddings these days versus, I guess, when you first started out 10 years ago. What do they look like in comparison?
Obviously, when we're just starting, you want to shoot any weddings that come your way. Not saying that we sort of can be a bit picky now, but obviously with our branding, we attract certain kind of clientele.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So we are more often shooting a certain kind of weddings than the other type of weddings.
Yeah.
So I guess we're definitely more focused on or more known for the Brisbane cultural weddings.
Yep.
In that way. Ethnic groups. Like we work with a lot of Greeks, a lot of Italians, a lot of, I guess, Europeans, all kinds, like Vietnamese, Chinese. So cultural weddings.
Yeah, for sure.
Cultural couples.
And just anyone getting married at the Valley Estate. All the couples.
All kinds of couples. We love that.
So, and was that a distinctive path that you wanted to take when you started? I guess Brisbane, I feel like being in the city, you are getting more cultural weddings anyway, bigger numbers. You know, there are going to be the 200, 300 people weddings. Was that always a path that you wanted to take? And was it strategic?
That's a good question. I actually made that call, I think before COVID or just before COVID. Or maybe that's when my business partner sort of left. So it's all up to me now, whatever I want to do to the company. Obviously, because we have partners in the business, it's kind of obviously you want to respect each other in terms of what you want to do, what I want to do.
Yeah.
But where he decided he wants to pursue his YouTube career, so he's like, okay, so it's all yours now, man. Like you can do whatever you want to it. And then I sort of had this idea, like what I actually want to make Evernew into. So that's when I had the idea of, hey, it would be really cool if we are more focused on certain weddings.
Yeah.
Because you want to build a business that's more known for. You can't be known for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You kind of have to set the go.
Everyone
and
says
then
niche down.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So I actually made the call. I think 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, hey, I actually not saying that I don't want to shoot the other weddings, but I really want to shoot this type of weddings
Yep.
and make ourselves known for those couple weddings.
Definitely.
And then starting offering my own packages.
Yep.
So like Evernew has a team package, like they operate as their own, but I have my own package.
So it's also like an associate kind of team. And
Yes,
then
associate
they're hiring-
package and then like the director package, which
Yeah.
is myself.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing.
I think that also contributed to the path that we have been coming along with.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then like I read about, so you won AIPP Photographer of the Year, was that 2013, 14?
2017, I think.
Okay, cool. 'Cause I used to love going to those events back in the day. Like they were the best.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were pretty controversial. Some people would get up in arms like, oh,
Yeah.
how did that person win? Or how did that person lose and everything? But I
Yeah.
still really liked that whole system.
Yeah.
Did you find after winning that, like, did that actually explode business? Did you see more bookings because of that?
That was my first year of ever entering.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I won the title, which
Yeah.
was total surprise, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it was kind of fair. Because like literally like my first year, like I just entered.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think couple really cares about the competition.
Yep.
That's more a photographer's game.
Yeah.
Like more in industry, everyone's just sort of having a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
But I really enjoy that. Although, I don't know if the couple really cares, but I feel that they don't care as much.
Yes.
I think they care more of where your work is getting published. Like if you manage to get on Vogue or Harper's Bazaar, I think that's more credibility to you from the couple. Like the couple would sort of see that more value than you won a competition in the photographer's world.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's crazy, like the different market that you're in. Like I kind of, when I got into it and all the way along, it's like you kind of always looked up to like Together Journal, Hello May, White when that was around. Like it was all that kind of type of magazine.
Yes.
Which is still, it's still very different to the weddings that you're putting forward on your website all the time at the moment.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess, and like even the clean and crisp and timeless that you guys have, it is like, it's almost like it isn't following the trends, but you're always staying current and you're just staying true to this one brand, which stands out definitely to like when you are in this higher end luxury market, people just love that look.
Yep.
Do you find that hard staying to that look when you see everyone else is like kind of going on this trend and this trend and this trend to stay true to yourself and your brand that you're at?
Well, what do you think the trend is at the moment? Like as we speak, at 2024, what is the trend?
Documentary is like the catchword that we're hearing at almost every word.
Yep. Editorial is kind of on the way out. Documentaries on the way in. I think editing style, a little less contrasty, almost like when the Canon 5D Mark IVs came out, it was like a little less contrast, like pastel-y, true to life colors. I think that's kind of like the editing style that's almost making its way in.
Less production value, I feel like. Like I almost feel like it's like fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Just like shoot the photo. And it was just like, oh, like I caught the moment rather than like,
Just angle it by 30 degrees.
Yeah. Rather than like getting, all the Dutch, what are they? The Dutch angle and whatever. The slow shutter stuff. Like, yeah.
It's very interesting. I think about this all the time. And I feel like for weddings, our everyday couple look at a lot of celebrities' works, like celebrities' weddings, and then like maybe as Australian, we look at a lot of like Europeans, and then like a lot of Americans, and then like how they get their wedding captured and stuff like that, how they style their wedding, right?
Yep.
And I feel like for the celebrities, because it's their daily life that they work with the cameras, right? So it's their daily life that they get very polished, very glam in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's on their wedding day, they don't want that. They just want very raw stuff. Like I would remember looking at Justin Bieber's wedding video and then his photo. Like you wouldn't. Obviously, it's a private island that he got married and whatnot. But looking at the way it's shot, you kind of feel like this is so raw. This is not big production.
100%. Like the film vibe,
not
the Super 8.
gimbal, not like drawn everything. It's the opposite, right?
A lot of Super 8 film look.
Yeah, and then a lot of just like documenting the day. So that style, I think his wedding was like 5 years ago. Maybe not. He probably wasn't the first one that had that style, but a lot of people have seen that video on YouTube, right? So that really changed people's perception of weddings.
Definitely.
In a way, be like, hey, actually, I don't need all of this. Like, look, Justin Bieber's having the wedding that way. And he showed it that way. So I think that really, changed a lot of the perceptions for at least for me, as a peer, right?
But I think it's so true. Like, I'll just add in there, like, I should really flip and know who this is because I've referred to it once on this podcast before, but it was one of the Kardashians that got married, and it was that very, like the piping of the cake, like the very traditional, like the white cake with the red love heart and like very like that kind of vibe. And now all of a sudden that's massive in the industry. Yeah,
definitely. I think we always going to look at those trends, and that's what the Vogues, those big magazines are for, like, so we're coming to our weddings, like the weddings we shoot every day. I feel like the trend is to really review the experience of the day. Not just the couples, but like the guests too.
For sure.
And honestly, that's when why people are having the wedding. It's not just for the two of them, because they could elope.
Exactly.
Right?
For sure.
They could go anywhere. But the fact that they decide to have a wedding, big or small, expensive or less expensive, is they want to really have the day with the guests. I think if you could really capture that, and then, I guess, portray the wedding in a way that's very fun. But fun is, I guess, amount all. Like it has to be a fun day.
Yes.
Or at least, the wedding sometimes isn't fun. Right? It's very stressful. It's like everyone wants different things happen on the wedding. Like the mom of the bride might want the wedding completely different to how the bride wants.
Totally.
So everyone has their opinions and whatnot. So the wedding sometimes isn't as fun as you think it could be. But as a creative, either a photographer or videographer, you kind of have to use anything you have to portray the way that the world thinks this wedding is so fun.
Fair point.
I think that's among all. I think the most important thing is no matter what actually happened on the day, you have the power to kind of portray it. Right? And then through your selection of images, through the way you pick your shots, because the power of not showing is so important, right?
Definitely.
The power of not showing.
Definitely.
And that's exactly what we're doing, right? So we select, and then we kind of choose what shots that goes out to reveal to the world.
Interesting way of looking at it. The power of what not to show.
Of course. Like, so important. Like, imagine a celebrity, like there's certain shots that they only allow you to review a few shots. Right? Like, they don't want you to actually, like, not that it's ugly, but it's obviously there's a lot going on behind the selection photos that you can see online. Right?
Definitely.
I think that's obviously the power. So, like, make the wedding so fun, and everyone just enjoy themselves. I think that's gonna be the trend. Fun. Having fun.
Definitely.
And inviting, because a wedding could be expensive, but we want to make it. It's also very inviting.
Definitely.
Right? Like, you look at this wedding, you don't feel like, oh, that's not going to be my wedding.
Yeah.
Because obviously we, as a studio, we want more business.
Yep, for
We
sure.
want attract more kinds of couples. Obviously, we want a certain look of the wedding,
Yep.
like a certain type of wedding maybe, but that type isn't a cultural
Yeah.
or like a certain race.
Yep.
We want to attract, I guess, expensive but very like fun weddings.
Yep.
Like inviting. So that's, I guess, another way of looking at it. Like we want to make sure that everything we do when we review to the world, it's very inviting.
Yeah.
And they can almost compete with each other sometimes though. Like when you look at a higher end wedding with more money, a lot of them aren't fun. You know, like it is hard.
Yeah.
Within reason, sorry. They're okay. So you go to a party, you know, outside of Sydney and they can definitely be fun with people with money. But there's like certain ones where you get to and it is really stiff and it is really polished. And it can be draining trying to create fun out of a wedding like that as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I guess like getting to that stage where you're already confident enough in yourself that you can actually gauge that and be like, yeah, like we want to shoot your wedding. It sounds amazing, but just also gauging their personality and what day it is actually going to be
So true.
to see if it's going to suit you.
In a lot of culture, wedding is a competition,
Yeah.
right? Like how my cousin had this wedding.
Yeah.
I want to have a better wedding than hers.
You hear that a bunch?
Oh, like all the time.
Wow.
It's not just the couples,
Yeah.
the parents too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like as a mother of the bride, oh, my sister, the daughter's wedding was like this. I want a better wedding for my daughter
Yeah. We just
all the time.
we just had one in Berry on the weekend. They were awesome. They had 3 opera singers. I was like, this is the best. I've never had an opera singer at a wedding before. It was
epic.
amazing.
Yeah.
It was like,
All the time. So we work with these families all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for us because obviously the content is going to be pretty good
Yes.
for us to work with. But also, it could make the day not as fun
yep.
for the couple because the guests don't see it. I mean, they understand the concept, but they're not going to really understand the hardness of the day, right?
Definitely.
So, but that competitive mind sometimes get into the couples.
Yep. Yeah.
You know? So, and then that's something we really want to help them
Yes. Okay.
shake it off.
Yes.
So like what is like your process for that? Like when especially, you know, you roll into bride prep the morning of the wedding
Yeah.
and everyone's stressing out because mum's in here and the sister's doing that and she didn't maybe organize something at a proper time and all of that. And all of a sudden Andy's here and you're just like, shit, have I got everything organized?
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate that?
Obviously, you read the room, right? You get into the room, you kind of understand.
Just offer her a shot.
Often. Yeah. It's funny because obviously I'm not a native speaker, so I feel language is never going to be my strongest
Yep.
skill set because I can never walk to a room and then just be so bubbly. Everyone just sort of sets the atmosphere almost.
Yep.
It's never going to be my strongest asset, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like sometimes it actually helps as well because I can be this Asian guy that just says appropriate things. You know what I mean? Like people let me get away with it.
Yes. I can imagine the groomsmen like they'd be having a fun time for sure.
Yeah, because I can just say this inappropriate things.
Yep.
Like probably not good enough to say. Like, I can't review it here. But you know what I mean? Like people have less expectations of you being like behave
For sure.
of the day. So I'm very direct.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could be very direct. If I see something I don't like, I'll just tell the bridesmaids.
Yep.
It's not your day. You just
Yep. Yeah, get out.
Get out.
Leave
a lot of
this
bridesmaids
wedding.
make the day their day, right?
Yes,
it's
for
not.
sure.
It's not their day.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, and then the couple really thank you for that.
Yeah, they
'Cause
appreciate it.
There are things that they can't say to their friends
100%.
and family members.
Yes, sisters.
You have no idea how many times brides like Andy, I want you to be the bad guy almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
You have to pull me away
Yep.
from my family because I want to
Exactly.
get on to the rest
Yeah.
of the day.
I want to breathe.
Yep.
So I really sometimes I have to pull them away or, have a word with the bridesmaids or
Yeah.
a sister or
Yeah.
an auntie or whatever.
Yeah. And still, like, so much of your work coming from like referrals.
Yes.
So like, it's like funny that you have to do that and be the bad guy, but then all the other people would see you doing that and they're like, we need him on our day too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy can be tough.
Yeah.
They see that.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a lot of time. I feel like a lot of photographers in this era
Yep.
don't have that.
Yeah, for sure.
They just flow with it.
They just flow.
Yep.
100%.
Even to their detriment.
They
you know?
they don't control the day.
Yep.
They don't like make the day better.
Yeah.
And this is something I often tell my team, like, hey, I understand, obviously, flow of the day is so important because that's how you get the moments. But I feel like it's also, like the couple has given us this power. They are allowing us to do that.
Yeah.
So don't think this is something not nice to do.
Yep.
They actually allow you to do that, which sometimes a lot of photographers don't understand. Like, they paid you, which means they actually allow you to. So if you believe yourself, if you think you're doing the right thing, do it.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Totally.
If you're happy with this, if you're not happy with this one thing, change it.
Yep. That's what they're paying you for.
Exactly. And I've changed the wedding, not completely, but I've changed the wedding so many times that it turns out to be better than how it is.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Just like run sheet wise, or like what is that?
Run
entail?
sheet or this one wedding, right? The bride had a lot of ideas of going different locations with the whole bridal party, like
Yeah.
15 people.
Yeah.
I was
Nightmare.
like, holy shit, because I was overseas, so I didn't do the consultation with the bride. Like my team did it. I was like, holy shit, like this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like you cannot drag 15 people
That's
with
like 4
you
hours.
and then expect everyone's gonna be happy for the entire time.
Yeah.
And I feel like she really wants them to be happy.
Yes.
And then that kind of sets her mood. I'm like, okay, so if you really want them to be happy, send them to the reception.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Have them for 30 minutes. See you later.
Yeah. Like have your bridal, bridal party shots.
Yep.
Yep.
And then just move on. Like,
Yeah.
and then just the two of you, which is ultimately the most important thing.
Yep.
It's not about 15 people
Exactly.
with you. And then after the wedding, the next day, she messaged me. She's like, "Oh my god, thank you, Andy. Like, I didn't realize how my day could maybe not, like you changed my day."
Yeah, exactly. It takes just so much time like associated with that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, just like think about it away from a wedding on a normal day where there's zero stresses of like having a wedding day and other different pieces involved. It's like, when do you think that it was going to be a good idea for you to organize 15 of your friends to go to 6 different locations all on the same day
and get photos?
and that was going to be good, like yeah. But
And in the middle of the city,
exactly
with
one wrong turn.
with like a massive stretch
And parking each one, it's like
Yeah.
$6,000 of parking.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So I feel like the couple actually gives you the power to do that.
Yep.
And you just have to believe yourself and then knowing what's the right thing to do and then just do it because that's in your power to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. You touched briefly just then on the team. What does a team behind Evernew look like at the moment?
So we've got 5 photographers, 5 videographers.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
big.
Plus myself. So yeah.
Yeah. And like behind the business wise, like admin and everything like that, is that you looking after everything on that side of things?
So one of the photographers actually helps me 3-4 days a week.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. And so they just freelance. You got enough of them that you're always going to have a photographer, videographer for the dates. Like they're not full-time staff or anything like that. They're just kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they have been with me for like years. Yeah. Because some days we have 4 weddings same day,
Yeah.
which is stressful.
Moving 15 people from location to location.
Yeah. And then we obviously and then the most stressful thing is because I'm shooting one of them.
Yep.
So I don't want to get another call from another
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not shooting, and because I don't have time to help her like
Yep. On that day.
on that day on a day. So I really have to put a lot of trust on my team.
Yep.
To execute the other 3 weddings.
And how many so you've got like kind of the director's package for yourself. How often are you booking yourself? Like just you? Like we just want you. Like no one else.
Oh, like no.
Oh no, just like you as part of the team. Like we
Yeah,
need you on the day.
Like 1/3
Yeah. Okay.
Epic.
of the yearly bookings that we have.
Yeah. Okay.
1/3 or close to 50%. But sometimes I'm booked, so
Yeah.
I kind of have to tell them to book the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then going back, I want to kind of touch back on the marketing side of things. You know, you're talking about like your Vogues and your Harper's Bazaar. Was that very pointed at the very beginning of like, I want to get these weddings featured in here? And if it was, how did you go about that process?
Well, like you're saying, the weddings that we currently working with, it's not really in their favor for various reasons. Because these magazines, they really want the celebrities' weddings.
Yep.
Right? And then your typical kind of a Brisbane Greek wedding isn't really going to caught their eyes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's a bit of a
Yep.
fame game.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
Definitely.
right? Like it's who the wedding is.
Exactly.
More than how you shot it.
Yep, for sure.
Or how much money you got to pay for the feature.
Because these weddings, man, like they know the wedding before the wedding even exists. So they want the photo next day. Like a lot of times, like we kind of have this perception, like, oh, we have to submit the wedding note. Like they know the wedding, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they want the wedding the next day of the wedding, like the photos.
Yeah.
So they can publish it and whatnot.
Yep.
So, but I've seen, obviously, like a lot of photographers do get their work published.
Yep.
It's something that I really want to get onto as well. But obviously, I feel like maybe it's the style or it's the type of wedding that I'm working with. It hasn't happened yet.
Yep.
I don't know how or when or you know how that happens, but
Yep.
I guess that's the game, right? Yeah. Because like I said, I serve or I work with certain type of clientele more than
Yep.
the other types. So I don't know if that's the case. Yeah.
It's hard when you've already got like such a successful studio.
Exactly,
then, like-
because you don't want to change your business just because you haven't got onto Vogue
Exactly right.
or whatever.
Yep.
Because your clients are beautiful.
Yeah.
Like they trust you, and if like you want to 100% go for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's all sort of in the air.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yep.
Like there's no guarantee whether you earned
Yes.
a title, like a wedding photographer of the year, or you got onto Vogue.
Yep.
That's going to help your business.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what's going to help your business is do it damn right every single time.
Yeah. It's good.
Right?
Yep.
And then like really serve your couple,
Yep.
service them. Because a lot of time I feel like we forgot that we are in a service industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many times we're like, I'm a creative.
Yeah. You just do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like you're serving your customer,
Yeah.
which is your couple, and then they putting their trust in you.
Yep.
And then often you just kind of want to do your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard often that there's like photographers where they're like, oh, I don't shoot that.
Yeah, no, you shoot that. If the couple wants to shoot it, you can shoot that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, that's not
I
my
only
thing.
shoot 10 family photos a day. Like,
Well,
you shoot however many the family photos
Exactly.
the couple want you to shoot.
Yep.
So I feel like that's also a thing now. I feel like maybe it's just people like, because we've been doing this for a long time, right?
Yeah.
All the younger generations, that's maybe their thing. I don't know.
Yep. Definitely. I feel like photographers have always been precious though, but it feels like it's getting
Yeah.
even worse now.
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Like,
sure.
no, I don't shoot that. No, I don't. Like it doesn't. You don't have to post it. Like you said, like being selective of what you post. You don't have to post it. You know?
Exactly.
Deliver it to the client.
Because you can build your brand on Instagram
Yep.
by what you chose to post,
Exactly.
and ultimately that's what you're gonna get your future couples.
Definitely.
Because what you post is what you get, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Because we shoot a lot of. So that's back in the day when I decided that I want to for example, get known for certain type of weddings, work more with them.
Yep.
That's just how I choose not to post the other weddings that I intentionally not maybe want to get.
Be a part. Yeah.
Yeah, be a part of.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be
yeah.
known for this.
Yep.
Yeah,
It might have been
and then you just post this.
a beautiful farm wedding. It was stunning. They had a beautiful marquee out on a farm. Amazing. But I don't want to shoot. These aren't the type of weddings that I want to shoot every day. So I'm not going to
because
feature that.
Yeah, it's for a business. I feel like my business has to have a certain purpose, right?
Yep.
Like it can have to stand for something.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is, I guess, kind of the strategic decisions that I made.
Yes.
Back in the days, and then see how it's actually working.
Yeah.
And
Whether or not the decision is right or not, but it's working for
Yeah.
you,
Yep.
right?
it's something that we talk about often where I feel like you become a photographer or a videographer, or honestly, it can branch out into any other industry. But you kind of, you're like, I'm a wedding photographer, but it's like, that's so broad, or I'm a commercial photographer. And it's like a commercial fashion photographer wouldn't shoot a wedding probably in the best way, or they would shoot it differently. And same as like a wedding photographer wouldn't do they would shoot a newborn shoot differently than a newborn photographer. And so it even gets broken down even way further, where it's like someone that does a lot of cultural weddings is going to shoot it better than myself because I don't do any. You know what I mean? It's like I'm going to like, I got an inquiry for like an Indian 3-day wedding, and I was like, sounds sick. Like, what a cool opportunity. But I was like, I'm probably not the guy for you, because I have no idea. I have no idea how to shoot it.
Pass the lead on to me, please.
I think you've done a couple of
But would you want to shoot it though?
I would, egotistically. Like, I think it would be a really cool opportunity, but brand wise, no.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not every wedding you want to do.
Yeah. It's not like, that's not my brand. So I'm just like, there's someone there for you. And I would hope that same as, you know, like that's where you're building your brand, is like, this is what I want it to be. And so like, love what, you know, if another inquiry comes through, it's like, love that, but I'm not the guy for you, or the team, you know, part of our team. Like, if you've got this, like a really big team, it's like, cool, this team is going to crush your wedding because that's what they specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's an interesting thought where, where you're like almost feeling like, I was feeling like you were almost having to justify why you're like building a brand like this. And it's like, no, like I'm niching down, like this is my thing. I'm going to be the best at that area, which is cool.
Yeah. I feel like when I had this idea 5-7 years ago,
Yep.
there wasn't a company or a studio that was known specifically for cultural weddings in Brisbane.
Yep.
It wasn't a thing.
Yep.
And until we sort of be like, we want to be that company.
Yep.
Like if you're Greek, if you're like a cultural wedding, you don't have to book us, but at least you know us. At least we are in your radar.
Yeah.
Right? Because you cannot, like, you can book other companies. Anyone can book any company. Anyone can book any studios, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
For various reasons.
Yep.
But at least we want Evernew to be in their radar. To, like, at least they considered.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And if we achieve that, I feel like, hey, that strategic plan has worked.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there'd be obviously a huge market for the type of weddings you're doing. Melbourne, Sydney, obviously would be massive. Do you find yourself flying down there often for weddings down there, or are you kind of niche to like Brisbane, you shoot a majority of those type of weddings here?
So it's funny because you like, we definitely want to branch out to Sydney and Melbourne.
Yeah.
But weekends you should usually get booked out.
Yeah.
Before we have the opportunity to go to other cities.
Yes.
So if we want to go to Melbourne or Sydney, I have to have a different team there.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm not someone that's easily trusted. Like when I look for a new team member, so it's gonna take me a long time to build another team there. I kind of want the team to shoot exactly how I want them to be.
Yes.
Shooting.
Yep. It's almost like you need to be living down there for a little bit of time to train them up like on the
and
ground.
Then, like I kind of need to be shooting those weddings to start with because obviously it's the brands, right? So COVID definitely put a stop into that, right? And then after COVID, I had a son, so that's another couple of years of not being able to just go freely as you want.
Yeah.
But starting from next year, I definitely want to go and then not physically move, but like start thinking about this.
Yes.
Because I feel like thinking is so powerful. I'm not sure if you guys feel that.
No, 100%.
Absolutely.
If you don't think about it, it's never gonna come.
Yeah.
And it's funny how when as soon as you have an
come.
idea, and as soon as you actually have that idea that like, why did that come to me right now?
100%.
And then it's just like, and it's happening.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't even know why, but it's already like the whole manifestation thing, but it's like, it's already, as soon as it's in your brain, it's already happened.
Yeah. And this is to whoever is listening to this, like you have to think about it before you even like put your mind to it almost.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So powerful. Like it will come to you. It's so funny. Like if you never think about it, it will never happen.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it happens all the time. Where you're like, oh, I haven't had an inquiry for a while. And then it's like an hour later, you get like this inquiry. It happens all the time. And it's just like, oh, I'd really love to shoot in France. And then like a week later, you get an inquiry for France or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like putting it out there into
just
the world.
Have to think about it. Yeah.
And it just ends
so
up
funny.
happening. Sorry. And then I want to go back to, you were talking about like this elevated experience. Like you want to give everything to every single couple. I'm definitely been guilty for this in the past where the delivery of after the wedding didn't live up to the hype of the wedding. So like, everyone after a wedding day, every wedding I shoot, everyone's like, thank you so much. Like, haven't seen any photos, haven't seen any videos, and they love it. And then I've definitely in the past been slack on the whole delivery of the final product. I feel like having the studio you must be pretty elevated as far as the end product goes. Is that, like, do you have any other experience apart from building the photography business? Did you have any other business experience or anything like that to be able to build out that side as well?
Well, this has been my only business so far, which I still enjoy every minute of building it. I feel like I really enjoy the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, I enjoy being a photographer as well. I think that's overarching for everything else. Like, I really enjoy being a wedding photographer.
Yep.
And then that follows through to Evernew is the business, right?
Yep.
In terms of delivering, do you deliver product in person?
No.
It's just digital only?
Oh, like
do you
we still
offer
have like
album?
Yeah, albums and like boxes with like USBs and prints and stuff like that, but nothing in person. Here you go.
Okay. This is the thing. Do you have a physical space?
No.
Okay. Well, because if you don't have a physical space, you can't have this delivering process. We do so many weddings, so we probably can't afford to deliver an album in person every single time.
Yeah.
But obviously for my couples, because they pay the director experience.
Yep.
Right? So if I'm in town, I'll try to get them come in and then sit with me, and then we can go through the album together.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful feeling because you don't usually see a couple after the wedding.
No.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
So you don't really usually get to hear from them how they feel about you.
Yep. Definitely had it in the past where you like send it off and you're like 2 weeks later, you're like, I hope they liked it. And then you're like,
it's often you never hear from them, right?
Yeah.
It's often you never hear from them, especially if you're just doing a digital delivery. With all the photos on a gallery.
Yep.
You send the link.
Yeah.
You just never hear from
viewed
them.
and that was it.
Yeah.
But like it feels like at the end of every wedding, you're like, we're best friends. And then it's just like, and I never spoke to you again.
Yeah. And then that relationship just got missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I had the opportunity, I will have them in.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I feel like that's such good ending.
Yes.
To this journey. Because we now offering studio shoots.
Beautiful.
Like family and then like newborns and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like you want to be in their minds.
Yeah.
For them to keep thinking about you.
Definitely.
When they want more shoots happening down the track.
Exactly. They've just been married, now they've had a kid, they got an engagement shoot, a maternity shoot.
I've heard something about delivering. I feel like there's 2 times that's crucial when people remember their experience with you. The first time they see you,
Yep.
and then the very last time
Okay.
they see you in the entire journey when they are with you.
Yep.
So the end has to be like a strong one, you know what I mean?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. That's how they remember you, because that's the end of their journey with you.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's tough because, like, at the end of the day, you're just packing up tripods so quickly.
Yeah, obviously we all say goodbye to our couples
exactly.
at the end of the wedding, but I feel like there should be another end
Yeah.
to it. Yeah,
Fair.
yeah. So that's how we do it. Yeah.
That would be nice.
One of the questions I had was like us as photographers, we know how important it is for like timelines and stuff like that. Do you have your hand in that pie for your couples, like helping them with their run sheet and time planning? And
Yeah, a month before, at least a few weeks before the wedding, we'll have them in the studio or do a Zoom.
Perfect.
To get through, because we do a lot of cultural weddings, so it's the timeline's a bit hectic.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot going on. So there's like ceremonies after ceremonies, you know, like
drum lines.
several dress changes, and then that all has to work.
Yes.
But I tell the couple, you know, like obviously do your timeline and then forget about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Let me worry about it.
Yep.
You just forget about your timeline.
You just enjoy your day.
I guess a lot of your weddings would be long hours then. Like if you're doing, especially doing like the tea
12,
ceremonies.
15 hours.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
15 hours, yeah.
Yeah, they're big ones. You're not doing too many doubles or triple headers.
I can't do them anymore. Yeah, I can't. I used to be able to do 3 in a row. My record was 7 weddings in 9 days.
Yeah,
that was my record.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a younger back.
That was that was when I start with the 2.
That's when I got the crutches.
Yeah. Not anymore. I can only do one
Yeah.
the Saturday.
I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week.
Well, good luck.
I'm not ready for it.
Good luck. Yeah, I can't do it. Like if I have to, I still can.
Yep.
Like this Friday, for example, I'm doing a tea ceremony for the wedding that's on Saturday.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I can still do that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to another photo shoot afterwards. But I try not to do 2 12 hours
Yeah.
back to back, because I can't be 100% for the second day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not fair for the second day couple, you know?
Definitely. Yeah.
I think I read about too, like the effort and the time you're putting into your team as far as like building up their skills and continually training them as well, which I find that's pretty inspiring, because there are so many studios out there at the moment, and it is kind of, we're just going to send out this photographer, you know, and it's like I don't feel like the criteria for each of those associate photographers is that high.
I agree.
It's kind of, there is, I guess that is a different market though, because they are the ones that are doing like $2,000 photo, you know, $3,000 we're doing photo and video, but it's kind of just like send out anyone. Whereas when I read that on your website, I was reading about that it's pretty cool to see you still putting in the time and effort to grow their skills as well.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There's 2 types of studios. There's 2 types of wedding photography or videography businesses.
Yep.
There's the one-man band, as we call it.
Yep.
Right? I'm not sure if you guys are that category.
Pretty much. Just branching out of it now, but yes.
Yeah. So like you are your own brand.
Yep.
You are the only person that's sort of really carrying you're the only shooter, right? The husband and wife couple also fall into that categories, because they're the only 2, or you know. And there's business like a studio, like you just sort of, it's you got multiple shooters, you going, and then you just, as a couple, you kind of just don't know who you get, but you get the business to do your wedding.
Yeah.
We are in between, you know.
Yep.
And that's a very unique, very, very unique spot for us, because I'm still, I guess, the face of the brand.
Yep.
Because I'm still a very active photographer, shooting in the business. So that makes Evernew half-half.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So they can still come in and they can pick me if they really like my style.
Yep.
Or they can choose to work with my associates, my team. but I'll make sure I choose the right photographer for them. So I meet with every single couple when they come in. They want to do the sales meeting or whatever. I meet with them. I'll get to understand whether they want to work with me or they want to work with my team. And if they want to work with my team, then that meeting helps me to understand what type of wedding they want to have, what kind of a couple dynamic they are as a couple.
Yeah.
So I will be able to pick who I think will be the best fit for them for their wedding. Yeah.
And like you said, and obviously that's working because you've got all these photographers and videographers that have been with you for years and years.
Yeah.
They're obviously feeling appreciated because there almost isn't within those studios. There's no responsibility from those associates. They're just like, oh, I just work and whatever.
Yeah.
And then almost that flows through to the bride and groom as well. It's just a job. You know what I mean? Like in those businesses. But I can see that like at least, the guys that you have on board will actually really care about the couple and about the wedding and put that effort in.
That's rule number one. They have to really care about this.
Yeah.
To be able to do this, to be able to join Evernew on this. Because we really proud ourselves. Like we want to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've worked with a couple of studio companies when, like I said before, when I've been booked for video and you rock up with one of the associate photographers for the studio and they're just like, they're clock watching the whole time. They're just like, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm different because I'm like, I've gotten to know my couple. I'm very unique, like that, very, one-man band kind of thing. So I take a lot into my couples. And then when I see that on the other end, I'm just like, damn, like it's their wedding day. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is interesting, right? Because you guys are like that one-man band concept, right? What do you think of the studio concept? Do you think that's going to be like, because that concept has been around for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
For 10 15 years, right? And then obviously that one-man band concept has been around for that as long as the studio.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think the benefit of like, because you're obviously sometimes fighting against
for sure.
Of course.
a studio, right?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to booking, because a couple that can come to you might also inquire a studio.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I think for me, it's definitely like I'm a bit of a salesperson. So I almost use that as like a sales point of why you should book me, not a studio, because you're booking me and you know who you're getting at your wedding and you like my work. So I almost don't even talk about my work and I talk about myself and like what I'm going to bring to your wedding day. Whereas like, and I'll just be like, but if you go a studio, if you like their work, then you're probably going to get something along those lines, but you don't know who you're getting on the day. Yeah. And some people love that. Some people, like I remember a couple of years ago.
It's a turning point for you, hey? Like, people just realize, hey, hang on, like I don't know who I'm getting.
Yeah. But I don't think it's necessarily a disadvantage for some couples either. Like I was saying a couple of years ago, I was talking to one of my couples and they're like, celebrant-wise, I just want like there's the very traditional, not traditional, the current current celebrant market is very like boisterous and like they're the theatrics and they're this and they're a bit of a show and they're getting people to laugh and all that. This person was just like, I just want like a grandpa or a grandma, like an old person that's just really traditional, doesn't talk, just gets down to the fundamentals of a ceremony, like what the point of it is, and then just like that's it, like just really beautiful person. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like I don't think I came from sales in like a tool shop and car sales, but I remember like when we were talking about when I was selling tools, it was like, you don't want to buy from that tool shop because they could be closed down in 2 years. And whereas if you buy from us, we've been around for how many years and, we're not going anywhere. So when your tool stuffs up, if it stuffs up,
what tool shop did you work for?
If your tool stuffs up or whatever, like you can bring it back to us. We'll sort your warranty or whatever. So I think like there's like that dynamic for both. The only spot I just don't like it where it's I like your business model where it's like you put love, you're still as passionate about it as we are, rather than just it's a money generator, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like your business makes way more sense to me than a one-man band. Or one-man band isn't sustainable at all. I've been doing it 13 years and I'll keep doing it. Like I always said, like by the time I get to the time I get to 30, like I probably won't be doing this anymore. And then you get to 30, you're like, oh, this is awesome. And you get to 35, you're like, I'm like, I'll still be going when I'm 40 and that's fine. But like as far as like we're now looking for our other businesses, kind of siphoning that where we can get an admin person. So then like you're still the one-man band as far as like I'm the person who shoots.
Yeah.
But now we've got a marketing team and we've got an admin team and we've got, all the team built out, but I'm still the person who shoots for you. So it's kind of that hybrid, but the opposite to what you're doing. Because it's very hard for a one-man band to compete with a studio because you've got the bulk amount of weddings coming in. You've got a marketing budget, you've got this budget, you've got this budget. There's a lot of moving parts, but you can have a really solid business compared to a one-man band.
But there has been a lot of temptations. As a business owner, you want the business to make more money.
Yep.
So by changing the business certain ways, obviously it might or might not bring you more business, but there's a lot of temptations. Like stick to our model.
Yep.
It takes guts because it takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of love, like a lot of care, to be honest.
Yep.
To build because we're not a volume-based business, but we still shoot a lot more weddings than a lot of the the one-man bands, right?
Yep.
Like, so
I'm not doing 4 weddings in a day.
Yeah. So how do we keep the quality of our work, keep the momentum, right? And then keep the team while still have so much care, so much love to us, a couple.
Yeah.
It will always be the most challenging part of the business. Yeah. Because I know how I'm gonna roll on a wedding day.
Yes.
But how do you know for sure your team is gonna perform the same as you? Have the same amount of love.
Yep.
Towards to their couples.
That. Like even the wage that you'd have to pay them, because you want someone really good, you want someone who really cares. They've been here forever. I've always found that hard with the photographers that have worked for studios. I'm like, you're shooting 60 weddings a year, like all your weekends are gone. And if you're working for a volume-based one, I'm like, cool, you're earning $60,000. So it's like, for like your model, I'm assuming you're getting artists on board as well. You have to pay them more. And so all of that's kind of taking away from the bottom dollar as well. But it's worth it because your brand holds true to this level.
100%.
Yeah. So that's it. If you don't pay them enough, obviously they come to shoot for you. They love what they do. They love weddings.
Yeah.
They're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
To be able to see the value themselves in doing this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always I'm very generous when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have very loyal people who work with you.
Yeah, and then turns out it works, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have the team I have for the last 10 years. Yeah.
All right. No, that's awesome.
Before we start wrapping up, I'd love to talk a little bit about new ventures or any new ways that Evernew are kind of heading at the moment, or yourself personally.
Yeah. I really want to shoot weddings all over the world because I as a photographer.
Yep.
But I don't know how I'm gonna bring Evernew with me to that level because, like I said, it takes time to train a team. Even in the same country, different city, it takes a lot of time.
Yep.
So my next project is maybe, I don't know, like I want to go to France and Italy and shoot weddings.
Yep.
It's probably easier for me to start that by myself, right? Like to just offer myself there. Like, I don't know, talk to planners and be all that.
But you just put an Instagram tile up, going to Europe 2025.
Yeah, but it's very hard for the...
Put a Vogue logo over.
Yeah, that's the key. But very hard to do that as a business.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think as a business owner, I really want Evernew to expand.
Yep.
But I don't want it to expand to a level that's going to sort of lowering our quality. So I always have to be very careful with the speed we're talking about here. So I feel the next step will be Sydney for sure. We really want to, because with our type of clientele, there's way more.
Yes, that's Sydney.
Like, way more epitome. Sydney and Melbourne. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And but there's a lot of competitions there.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're very good, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah,
definitely.
Very good in what they do.
And even like the networking they would already have just been there forever.
Years of building, right? Years of building. So So but that's the fun part. I'm down for the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe the model and I believe the concept and I believe myself
Yeah.
to be able to deliver. And then, you know, not saying like they don't, but like you kind of have to believe yourself first before you can sort of go down there and then like almost play with the big boys, right?
Yeah. Go to the big smoke.
Yeah. So that's for Evernew. But for myself, I really want to go and shoot weddings. I'm just really interested to see, like, that's why I asked you, like, what about that Indian wedding? Like, I would just do it. Because I want to experience weddings
For sure.
in different cultures. Like, I just want to shoot a wedding that I've never shot before.
Yep.
Just to experience it. Because I know no matter how difficult the wedding is, we can deliver good photos.
Yeah.
But as a personal experience, I want to experience
Yes.
Yeah.
different weddings.
For me, like I've done, I think 2 or 3 like Greek weddings with Steve.
Yeah.
But like Indian, like I've never done an Indian wedding, and it was like a 3-day, and it was like they kind of had like all these cultural things.
Yes.
And I was like, cool. I know that I'll be able to like take good photos, but I almost felt like a fish out of water. Of like, I just feel like there's gonna be someone that is well versed in Indian weddings. I think, didn't you say that you shot an Indian wedding early on in your career?
Yeah.
And it was like that you weren't allowed at the bride prep or something like that, and Kashia had to go.
Nah, that was more Arab type of deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't know all like those cultural things. I also just like, I'm a very boisterous person, so I'd probably say something and upset someone. Like, it was just like, I just don't think I'm the right guy for you. Like, I think it would be sick, but I don't feel like I should be shooting someone's wedding for myself. Of like, just this is going to be sick. And if I thought I couldn't deliver, if I felt confident in it, I'd be fine. But I was like, it's your wedding day. There's going to be someone better.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to shoot weddings anywhere, in any form. Probably it's because I've been doing what I've been done for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I feel like as a creative mind, I'm ready for a new adventure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
I feel like the stepping stone from where you've started though to where you are now, where you're doing big cultural weddings, like that probably stepping stone, like that gap between where you were and where you are now, it was probably a lot closer because you were taking those little stepping stones to that. Whereas for me, if like I've only been doing this for 6 years, and so yeah, like that gap just seems so massive to me. Where I'm like, oh
Yeah.
I'm a small fish in a big city, you know, like that was definitely not the analogy.
I mean, even like for the type of wedding I'm doing now in Brisbane versus the similar cultural weddings in Sydney, man.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit! Like
Okay.
like it's huge.
Yeah.
And then like working with a planner versus working with a couple that didn't have a wedding planner, completely different.
Yep, definitely.
Working with a couple that it's just so much fun. Like I shot a wedding recently. Like I couldn't say who it is, but like, man, crazy. Like people everywhere, like everywhere. Like, and then like you try to get a photo of them. It's so hard.
Yeah,
like
right.
the simplest thing that you would think to get a nice photo of the couple.
Yeah.
No time for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Just so much else going on.
So much else going on. So
Yeah.
much else they have to worry about. So like there's no time for that.
Yeah.
For just you get 5 minutes out of the day to shoot them.
Yeah.
I remember I was seeing the royal family in British when they got married. I think it's Prince
Yeah. I'm not good with the royal
Harry
family.
or whatever. So they're like, obviously, everyone wants to see how the wedding went. The photo came out, it was so average, like it was so like bland.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone was like
Oh my
having a go at the photographer, like, oh, like how is he getting picked for that wedding? You know, the photo was so average. I was one of them at the time. I was like, I
These
could
guys are trash.
I could have done a better job, right? Like way better job. But recently, obviously, when you are getting to show those
Yep.
celebrities or whatever, their wedding, you understand.
Yep.
As a photographer, you don't really have a lot of power.
Yep.
Like, you get 5 minutes
Yeah.
and then that's it. Like the couple doesn't want to get their photos
Yeah,
taken
the whole thing. Yeah.
for 2 hours.
Yep, for sure.
Because they're used to cameras. They don't want camera on the day.
So true.
Yeah, definitely. They just want to
It's
enjoy
very
their friends.
different. Yeah, very different. And then I've seen those high-end weddings planners.
Yep.
They don't want you to put your little light stands everywhere
Yep.
in the room because they've put so much money to make that room so perfect.
Yep.
They don't want to see a light stand.
Yep. But most of those venues will have dedicated lighting anyway. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like pre-production meetings at the venue to like,
Not a lot in Brisbane.
in Brisbane.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's gonna be they're gonna come. But like
Yeah.
not because for Brisbane, I feel like you have to create your own lighting a little bit.
Yes.
But for a lot of like I guess really high end places, they have lighting set up, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about lighting.
Yeah.
And then you don't really have a lot of time to shoot the couple. Then what do you do on the day? So it's a completely different game, right? It's like everything you can kiss them goodbye because it's different.
Yeah.
You don't get to work with your off-camera flash. You don't really get to work with your magic. You don't really get to talk to a couple.
Yeah.
Then what is really your job there?
Yeah.
So
You're just an event photographer at that point.
well, but there's gonna be some difference, right? Like you're gonna have to create something.
Yeah, 100%. But I think that's what separates like the good.
Yeah, but like you try so hard to get to that level, and then you don't really get to work with.
Yeah.
You
The
don't
way
really
you
get
want to. The way
you
you
don't
want
really
to.
want. You don't really get to work your magic anymore.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm loving this
For sure.
chat. We have to wrap it up. I'm sorry. We're going
wow.
an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, that's-
and we've
yeah.
got...
Epic.
We're just
Just rolling with it.
we can definitely
I
have you
love
back
it.
on because this is amazing. I'd love to
This
have
is
more
epic.
chats
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
awesome.
But before we head off, sorry.
How does everyone find you?
Yeah. How's everyone find you when we've got all the Sydney, Europe, Melbourne weddings for you? How are they finding you on Instagram, website, all that kind of stuff?
Just Instagram for now.
What is it?
What do you mean?
Plug yourself.
Yeah. like
What's your
Evernew
website? How do they
Studios.
find you?
It's just Evernew Studio.
Vogue.com.au / Evernew.
Yeah, Evernew Studio
Beautiful.
on Instagram, and then our website's evernewstudio.com.
Beautiful.
And then my personal Instagram is ndz.evernew.
Unreal.
Awesome. Where's some dream spots you want to shoot weddings? So when all the brides here and they're getting married in Monaco and France and where do you want to go?
Anywhere, like Como, like Italy, France, United States. I booked a wedding in Peru next year.
Oh,
awesome. And I'm going to Bali. Like anywhere, like I think I'm ready for the next adventure
Love it.
because I feel like I'm ready. You know, I've got all the skill set. I've seen enough on the wedding day, so nothing stresses me anymore. And then that really comes down to how I make the couple relax on a day. Because if you've seen enough, the couple hasn't seen enough, but you've seen enough.
Yeah. For sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Legend.
Andy, thank you so much for coming on, mate.
My pleasure.
Good man.
Awesome
Thank you
chat.
so
I was
much.
like, what do you want me to say?
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.